I know who you are, and if you leave now, someone here will get hurt. The note burned in his palm as the manager's voice cut through the dining room. Sharp and cold, aimed at a trembling waitress who had dropped a plate. Every table went quiet. No one spoke. No one moved. The billionaire sat there, unseen, in borrowed clothes that smelled faintly of grease and soap, watching his own restaurant turn cruel right in front of him. He had not planned for this moment to feel so personal. The manager stood too close to the waitress, his shadow swallowing her small frame. Her face was pale, her hands shaking as she bent to clean the mess. Guests stared at their plates, pretending not to see. The billionaire felt something twist in his chest. This was not the brand he had built. This was not the promise written on the walls. He looked down again at the folded paper hidden under his plate. The handwriting was neat but rushed. The warning was clear, and the weight of it settled deep inside him. The billionaire had come here to observe, not to interfere, to disappear into the crowd and learn the truth quietly. But now, sitting in silence, he realized silence itself was part of the problem. He forced himself to stay still. His name was Daniel Cross. The world knew him as a calm genius of business, a man who turned small ideas into global empires. What the world did not know was how tired he was. Tired of reports that sounded perfect. Tired of meetings where people nodded but never spoke honestly. Tired of feeling that something vital had slipped through his fingers. That was why he came alone. No security, no assistance. Just a borrowed jacket, worn shoes, and a face no one would look at twice. The restaurant smelled of oil, coffee, and heat. It was loud in the way busy places were loud, yet filled with an unspoken tension. Daniel noticed everything. The way staff flinched when the manager passed. The way smiles vanished the second customers looked away. The way mistakes were met with fear, not guidance. Then there was her. The waitress moved quietly, like someone trained to take up as little space as possible. Her uniform was clean but faded. Her hair was pulled back tight. There was a bruise on her wrist she tried to hide. Her eyes carried something older than her years. When she reached Daniel's table earlier, she had looked at him longer than needed. Not with suspicion. With recognition, not of his face, but of his attention. He watched people the way few did, fully, carefully. She had slid the note beneath his plate as if it were nothing. As if she were passing him sugar. But it was not nothing. Daniel's mind drifted back years, to another place where silence had nearly cost him everything. He had grown up in a small home where noise meant danger. His father's anger filled rooms. His mother survived by staying quiet, by reading moods like weather. Daniel learned early that power did not always shout. Sometimes it waited. When he built his first company, he promised himself things would be different. He would listen. He would protect. He would never become the kind of man people feared. But power had a way of creating distance. Reports replaced faces. Numbers replaced names. Somewhere along the way, he stopped hearing the quiet warnings. The waitress's name was Lena. She had started working here after her brother was injured on a construction job that offered no insurance. Bills stacked up fast. She took whatever work she could find. This restaurant had seemed safe, clean, respectable. At first it was, then management changed. Rules tightened. Shifts grew longer. Breaks vanished. Anyone who asked questions lost hours. Complaints went unanswered. The office door stayed locked. Lena noticed small things first. Food being reused when it should not be. Dates changed. Staff told to stay quiet when inspectors came. She felt the pressure build like a storm behind her ribs. She stayed because she had to, because her brother needed care, because walking away felt impossible. The night she saw a coworker faint from exhaustion and be told to clock out without help. Something in Lena broke. She had tried reporting it. Emails vanished. Calls went nowhere. Fear spread through the staff like a sickness. When she saw Daniel, she knew. Not because she recognized him from magazines, but because of how he noticed the broken things, how his eyes followed the manager instead of his phone, how he flinched when the waitress was spoken to harshly. People like that either had power or pain, sometimes both. Slipping him the note felt like stepping off a cliff. But doing nothing felt worse, back in the dining room. The manager walked away at last, satisfied with the silence he had enforced. The waitress wiped the floor and stood slowly. Her face was calm now, but something in her eyes had hardened. Daniel folded the note again, his fingers steady despite the rush in his veins. "I know who you are. Someone here is in danger." He paid and stood, leaving without looking back. That night sleep would not come. The city lights glowed outside his window, cold and distant. He replayed every detail, every glance, every moment of fear he had witnessed. He could have ended this with one call. Shut the place down. Fired everyone. But that would not protect the people who needed it most. It would only erase the evidence, so he went back. Day after day, he returned. Different times, different tables. Always invisible, he saw more. Heard whispers cut short. Watched deliveries arrive late and leave early. Noticed how Lena was watched more closely than others now. How her name appeared less on the schedule. She did not approach him again until the fourth day. The note appeared in his hand as he picked up his receipt tonight. After close, storage room, the hours crawled. Chairs flipped onto tables. Lights dimmed. Staff filed out, eyes down. Daniel stayed seated, heart pounding, till the last lock clicked. The storage room smelled of cardboard and cleaner. Lena stood near the back, shoulders tense, eyes alert. She told him everything. About the threats. About the unsafe practices. About the fear that someone would get seriously hurt. She spoke without drama. Without tears. Just truth. Daniel listened. Completely. You do not have to do this, he thought. But he did not say it. He knew she already knew the risk. She finished with one sentence that settled heavy between them. They think no one is watching. The next morning, the power shifted. Inspectors arrived without warning. Corporate leaders followed. Records were demanded. Doors opened. The manager's confidence cracked. His voice faltered. The silence he once commanded turned against him. Staff gathered, unsure, afraid to hope. Then Daniel stepped forward. He spoke plainly. He named failures. He accepted responsibility. "I built this place on trust," he said. "And trust requires courage from both sides." He did not raise his voice. He did not point fingers. The truth was enough. The manager was removed. Investigations followed. Changes came fast and real. Lena stood among her co-workers, heart racing, unsure if she had just saved them or doomed herself. Daniel found her later. In the quiet of the now empty dining room, he thanked her without spectacle. Without witnesses, some words do not need volume to carry weight. A week later, Lena was offered a role she never imagined. Training, authority, protection for those who spoke up. She hesitated. Fear does not vanish overnight. Daniel said one thing that stayed with her. Bravery does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like staying when it would be safer to leave. She accepted. Months passed. The restaurant changed. Laughter returned. Shoulders relaxed. The smell of fear faded. Daniel still visited sometimes, quietly. From the corner, he watched Lena guide new staff with patience. He saw her speak up without shaking, and he remembered the note that started it all. Power does not belong to those who hold titles. It belongs to those who refuse to look away. If this story moved you, share where you were watching from and what you believe true courage looks like. Subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength and unseen heroes.